Bloody Knuckles in the Incursion. Should you be using them? Short answer is yes. So, Bloody Knuckles in the Incursion. This has been a thing that's been going on for a while, and I should have done this absolutely ages ago. I'm sure so many people have seen or have been using Bloody Knuckles in the Incursion for some time now. I've just got this long list of crap I need to catch up on because I suck at being a YouTuber/streamer. Shameless self-plug time. If you didn't know, I am over on Twitch as well, so do feel free to come and pester me on there and just ask all of your questions. There'll be a link in the description just in case. So, the strats for the Incursion have basically grown near enough constantly since its inception, and Bloody Knuckles seem to be a pretty huge mainstay in terms of strats, vastly outperforming Coyote's Mask, especially in the areas where you're actually able to get a huge benefit from them, such as Right, the first boss, technically, or whatever, as well as the Lovebirds. You can do huge Unga Bunga damage here, and I've tried looking around. I remember one of my friends, Bazookas, I'm not sure if he'll be watching this, but he showed his variation of utilising the Bloody Knuckles striker build with Ouroboros, and he was getting 7 mil crits. 7 mil. Imagine a team doing this. Now on the range in solo with what I have here, you can easily see that I'm doing like 1.1 to 1.1 mil, 1.12 mil. And then when Bloody Knuckles procs, I go to 1.4. This is pretty damn huge. Now if we add in all the multipliers and buffs that you get within a team scenario, within the Incursion, this can get pretty damn hefty. The question now is what piece should we be using? Obviously, we've got 4-piece strikers utilising the chest as well as the backpack. We've got Bloody Knuckles. What would be a good 6th piece to run here to try and get the most optimum amount of damage for our builds so that we're able to take out Right and Lovebirds quickly, easily, cleanly, and hopefully as painlessly as possible, as well as get people out of running that stupid gate strat. So the options here are running a Cheska piece. This gives us 60% crit chance, 163% critical hit damage, 70% headshot, and 10% damage to targets out of cover. This is going to be probably the main one that a lot of people go for, and it also has the added benefit of bolstering the crit chance for our second weapon. Punch Drunk, 59 crit chance, 139 critical hit damage, 90% headshot, and 10% damage to targets out of cover. Now this is theoretically the weakest, not because it does the less, it's not really benefiting the second weapon as much, and if you do need to swap, it is wholly reliant on you hitting those headshots. So if you do miss headshots, then you're kind of a duck out of water. Next up is Grupo, 59 crit chance, 166 critical hit damage, 70 headshot, 10% damage to targets out of cover. Now I am actually expecting this one to perform very, very well just because of the way in which headshot and crits interact. This is going to give us theoretically more than Cheska, but we are going to be losing out on what Cheska actually offers our secondary weapon, which Grupo just doesn't give. And then finally, Fox's Prayer. I'm expecting a lot of people to actually back this one. 59 crit chance, 139 critical hit damage, 70 headshot, 18% damage to targets out of cover. Now for their damage, again though, solo. Now the main thing we're going to be focusing on is headshots, and hopefully, as you can see, Cheska is going to be our benchmark. Grupo is doing ever so slightly more. Contractors is doing 1.5% more, and Fox's is doing about 1% more. This is solo, however, and the reason I do this solo first is that we can get an understanding of how different things interact within the group. So with team buffs active, we're going to add in FI, which is another 25% total weapon damage, giving us 0.5. Firewall, the proximity, 10, shield 5, mod 6, then another 0.25 when overcharged, and then perfect oppo and perfect sledge. There's an arrow there corresponding with all of them. So this is the full team setup, and our damage is, obviously, again, we're using Cheska as the baseline. Grupo is basically staying where it is, so is Punch Drunk, but Fox's has dropped a little bit. Now, realistically, this does actually show Cheska to be the weakest. I am fully aware. However, I am going to go against the grain here and say that Cheska is actually probably your best option. Grupo isn't actually really giving you enough. Technically it is more, but it isn't really giving you enough to actually compensate that loss of damage on your secondary weapon, because that's one thing that I haven't shown here. Cheska is going to give you the best options for your secondary weapon. Punch Drunk is great and all, however, the moment you're not hitting headshots, you basically lose out massively, and again, we're basically getting nothing in comparison to our secondary weapon, which also is what applies to Foxes. Now, while we're hitting the Lovebirds, don't get me wrong, Foxes here is going to be a great option. It's about 0.5%, but that 0.5% isn't going to be enough to help compensate whatever it is your second weapon is, especially if you need to go for a range. While you're hitting Lovebirds, we're using Ouroboros. We're predominantly looking at Ouroboros here. However, the moment we come off of the Lovebirds and we need to start looking at ads, we lose out massively with Foxes and with Punch Drunk, which basically means Grupo and Cheska are realistically going to be your only option. The next downside is going to be if we do need to swap off of that weapon, we're going to be losing about 10% crit chance because we're no longer using Cheska, whereas with Cheska, it's going to be the best option. Now, realistically, I would like to say that it's entirely up to you. If you're just looking to get rid of the Lovebirds as quick as possible, I feel like Punch Drunk will be your best option. However, this is looking at crit variance. I will need to do another video again, but this one's already kind of pushing the boundaries a little bit in terms of duration. So I will need to do another one again of where we are looking at particularly the headshot variance. However, in the meantime, have fun, good luck, don't die, it's bad for the health.